Hey guys, it's Owen here from D20. It's been a few weeks since I last uploaded a rant video. You may remember the last one. I was talking about the Magic the Gathering community and how I think it's a good idea to create a space for beginner intermediate level players, not only who are new to the game, but who want to continue to play at a beginner or intermediate level in perpetuity. People who aren't interested in advancing competitively in the game, but still want to be involved in the hobby at an organized level. And I think that was really productive. We had some really cool conversations about that on Discord and Twitter. And we even hosted an event this past weekend at Cesco's in Joburg. The idea being to try and attract some of those players to a casual, friendly play environment. And we may do more of those in future. We'll see how it goes. So this time I want to move on to one of my other unpopular opinions, which is what this series of videos is all about. And this time I'm going to be talking about shorts. Short pants on men. So I want to frame this as when you're getting dressed in the morning, you're making a series of choices about what you're going to look like for the day. Every item of clothing or jewelry, accessory that you put on your body, you're making a choice about what that's going to be, what it's going to be looking like, each individual item as well as the ensemble. Let me use myself as an example. This is a Star Trek t-shirt. I've got my Starfleet dog tags. I've got my Android Wear watch. I've got my facial hair and my hair. These all tell people things about me. Now, in the case of my Star Trek t-shirt, I've chosen specifically a Star Trek t-shirt to tell people that I'm a Star Trek fan.
Are you a Trekkie?
Totally.
And that hopefully when people see me, they'll get that message about it. But they might also be getting other things, other information about me that I might not have intended to tell them about me by choosing this t-shirt. For one thing, the fact that I'm able to wear a Star Trek t-shirt in the middle of the day on a weekday tells them something about who I am. It tells them that I don't have certain kinds of jobs. I'm probably not a deep sea pipe technician. I'm probably not a Wall Street stockbroker. Because those kinds of people tend not to be able to wear t-shirts in the middle of the day on a weekday. I can because of who I am. The fact that this isn't just a regular Star Trek t-shirt, it's my evil Spock t-shirt. So it's got a picture of Mirror Universe Spock. It says evil at the bottom, and it's a variation of the Obama campaign poster from a few years ago. That tells you a few things as well. So not only am I interested in Star Trek, but I have a more kind of darker, cynical perspective on the thing. So that might also tell you some things about it if you take the time to think about that. The fact that I'm able to grow my hair long.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Whitfield.
Hey, don't you get a haircut, you hippie!
The fact that I'm able to have facial hair, that tells you a few things about who I am, about my lifestyle, about what work I might do or can't possibly do. I'm obviously not in the real world military. Starfleet's personal grooming regulations are a lot less strict than the South African National Defence Force.
Commander, is it your intention to continue to grow your beard?
Actually, I'm not sure yet.
The fact that I wear jeans, the fact that I wear an Android Wear watch as opposed to an Apple Watch, like all of these things tell you things about me, which might be intentional or they might be implied or accidental. And the same thing is true of somebody who goes out in public wearing shorts. And I say somebody, I mean an adult man. Pretty much everything I'm talking about in this video today applies only to adult men. It doesn't apply to women. There's a whole different set of standards which apply to women when it comes to these sorts of things. And I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about those things. I might do some reading and talk about it in a future video and risk being called a misogynist or something, but I'm not going to do that today. Today I'm talking specifically about adult men because I'm an adult man. So when you put on shorts, what you're telling people is, well, okay, so the decision you're making when you decide to put on shorts for the day and to go out in public wearing shorts is it's comfortable, it's breezy, it's a hot day, I don't want to be too hot, so I'm just going to put on these shorts and slops and I'm going to go out in public wearing the standard South African suburban dad uniform, this thing. And then all that means is that I get to look like every other guy who's kind of sort of like me, a middle-aged South African suburban dad, and that's what I look like, and I'm comfortable, and it's practical and useful and all that kind of thing. Now, sure, all of that stuff that's a legitimate line of reasoning, but what you might not be taking into account is that people out in the world are seeing you and they're deriving information about you. They might not even be doing this consciously. They might be inferring it at a subconscious level. But one of the things they're inferring about you is that you're trying to identify yourself as something other than a grown man. What? Okay, right. Let me explain that a little bit. So, shorts have traditionally. Okay, disclaimer, I am not an expert fashion historian. I've done a little bit of reading on the subject, but it's really confusing to try and trace these things back to their origins. If you know more about fashion history, I know there's a couple of you people who might actually know more about this than me. Please correct me in the comments below if I've gotten anything wrong. But from what I can tell, short pants have, for most of the last century or so, been traditionally reserved for small boys, for children, and in particular for boys. They haven't been intended for grown men. Now, there have been examples of shorts being included in military uniforms in the navies and various navies of the world in particular. That is exclusively for practical reasons, because short pants, they're less fabric, so they're less likely to get damaged because they cover less of your body. It's less dangerous in when you're serving in in the Caribbean in the baking sun. There are strong practical reasons to wear short pants rather than long pants if you're not being seen in public. Now, when you are serving on the ship, you're only being seen by your fellow sailors, and they're all wearing the same ridiculous short pants that you're wearing, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. When you go ashore, you're encouraged to change into something a bit more formal, something with that covers all of your legs, because nobody wants to see that. But in the last few decades, it's become popular for grown men to wear shorts as well. These are probably men who grew up wearing shorts when they were children and decided never to stop wearing them, even though they become adults. It never occurred to them, perhaps, that it was time at some point to make a transition from wearing short pants like a child to wearing long pants like an adult. But I had an opportunity to attend an all-boys high school. Now, when I went to primary school, like there I am in my primary school uniform, shorts were part of the summer uniform. For boys, but that was normal because it was a primary school, it was for children. But when I went to high school, there's me in my high school uniform, you'll notice those long pants. Now, that wasn't the winter uniform, that was year-round uniform. And when I questioned this, I got a couple of just hand-waving responses, but I did get one at least semi-thoughtful response, which got me thinking on the subject back then, and this idea has been percolating in my brain for decades, is that here at this high school, I can't remember who it was, I can't remember the exact words, but this is the gist of what was told to me. Here at this school, we're not interested in producing children. We are trying to generate a culture of manhood, and to prepare these men for the world. And part of that is to encourage these boys who used to dress like children to dress like men. And that means wearing a tie, wearing a suit jacket, and wearing long pants every day of the year. Now, I didn't like it at the time. I desperately wanted to wear short pants like I had done at primary school because it was extremely uncomfortable. In the heat of the Johannesburg summer, with temperatures up to 35 degrees Celsius, it was really, really uncomfortable wearing that full suit to school every day. And I lived close enough to the school that I was able to walk there and back, but walking to the school and back in blazing sun, 35-degree heat, carrying a heavy backpack really wasn't fun. But I understood it. When it was explained to me on those terms, I kind of got it. And although it took me a few years after leaving school for it to really sink in, by the time I reached my mid-20s, I reached a point of never really wearing short pants in public anymore, because I just didn't feel like it was right anymore. Like I was a man now. I was a grown up. Wearing shorts in public wasn't appropriate, and now it's a hard and fast rule. You'll probably never see me wearing shorts in public unless it's part of a cosplay or some other thing like that. But so why would people choose to wear shorts if they're for children, if those people are men, if they're grown men? Now again, they might not be making these choices deliberately. They might not be thinking about it explicitly, but I suspect that there is perhaps a subconscious awareness of this fact somewhere in the back of their mind. Now, I know that Will Wheaton talks quite a lot about what makes a geek, what makes Generation X in particular different from other generations. And one of those elements is that our generation have decided to hang on to the things that we had as children instead of setting them aside when we became adults to just keep doing them. And wearing shorts seems to be part of that milieu, that part of that culture. And that's understandable. I certainly am still interested in most of the things I was interested in when I was a child: superheroes, Star Trek, dressing up in fancy dress. I loved all of that stuff when I was a kid, and I still love it. I don't see any reason to have to give any of those things up. And I'm well aware of the fact that when people see me doing those things, they think of me as being somewhat childlike as a result, and I'm okay with that. As long as it's childlike and not childish, then it's cool. But what I'm suggesting here is that wearing shorts in public as a grown man is not childlike. It is, in fact, childish. Because not only has our generation reached adulthood refusing to let go of the things that we were interested in as children, but the environment around what it means to be a man has changed significantly in that time as well. It's no longer fashionable to be a man in 2018, with things like hashtag kill all men.
We need to kill all men.
Manspreading.
Manspreading is when a man spreads his physical body to take up as much space as humanly possible.
Mansplaining.
Eternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look into
we
that.
like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because
yeah.
it's more inclusive.
There we go.
Toxic masculinity.
In other words, toxic masculinity is Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Being a man is not a cool thing to be. So that being the case, it's understandable if people want to abandon that identity of what it means to be a man, want to dress up as a child when you go out in public. This suburban dad uniform of the T-shirt, shorts and slops, which is a child's outfit. When you're wearing that in public, it tells people at a subconscious level that they shouldn't be seeing you as a fully realized adult human male, as a man with agency and power, but rather as something masculine but childlike, less threatening, less intimidating, less of a danger to you. I certainly understand that in this world. I mean, frankly, there's a whole class of people who are abandoning the masculine gender altogether.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
But if you're not interested in abandoning your masculinity altogether, but you still want to present yourself as less threatening to the world, I can certainly understand wanting to dress yourself up as a boy instead of as a man. I don't want to do that, but I get it. I understand. But I want to be clear that I'm not trying to create a set of rules for how people should dress. It's really up to you. Obviously, I have rules about how I dress, but that's for me and for me only. But what I am trying to do is encourage people to think about the choices that they're making. When you're choosing to put on a certain set of clothes in the morning, it might be communicating to other people more than what you had intended. And it's worthwhile to consider those kinds of things. This is the reason why we dress a certain way when we go to work and dress a different way when we go to a braai. It's because the context is different, but the context isn't some kind of rule from on high. Well, it usually isn't. It's more about the perception of the people around you when you enter that context. If you work in a certain kind of office, you wear a suit and tie when you go to the office because you want people to think a certain way of you. You want them to think of you as professional. You wouldn't wear your shorts, t-shirt and slops to the office because you would come across as unprofessional and people wouldn't take you as seriously. So I think everybody's getting by default that this is a thing that happens, but it might be uncomfortable to think about the kinds of inferences that people would draw from the choices that you make, especially if they're choices that you like to make. If you like to wear shorts, you might not want to think about the fact that other people might not think that favorably of you for doing so. I want to be clear also that I'm not suggesting that there are no situations in which it's appropriate to wear shorts. Now, while I certainly do say that as an adult man, you shouldn't be wearing shorts in public, I'm not going to say that there are no situations in which you shouldn't wear shorts. Places like I mentioned, like the beach, it would actually be weird for you not to be wearing shorts at the beach. If you showed up there in jeans and boots, that would be the odd thing to do. I'm not sure if I can think of a second example. Obviously, you can wear whatever you want at home, whether it's shorts or sweats or your underwear or nothing at all. Your own house is your castle. And that's literally the only place where I wear shorts is at the beach or at home. Now, I want to be clear about mentioning the gym as an exception. You should not be wearing shorts at the gym. Please, guys, please. And this is for my aesthetic sensibilities. Now, I understand wanting to wear shorts at the gym. It seems practical, right? Shorts are they're shorter, they're lighter, they're comfy, they're breezy. They help you stay comfortable, and it's a purely utilitarian choice at the gym. And while I certainly agree that the gym is one of the places where the dress code rules are different to the outside world, and that you're probably dressing more for utilitarian reasons than you are for appearance reasons, shorts are a bad choice for men. Okay, let's think this through. When you're at the gym, you're undertaking motions that you wouldn't normally undertake. You're not just standing there, you're not just walking around, you're not sitting at a table. You're sitting down at unusual angles. So you're sitting at a leg extension machine, you're doing squats, you're doing deadlifts, and when you're doing these kinds of things, your legs are pointing in directions that they wouldn't ordinarily point. Okay? Especially shorts that stop above the knee, what that does is it creates a direct line of sight from the rim of your pants to your junk. So when you're doing leg extensions or something like that, or squats, if somebody happens to glance in your direction from the wrong angle, and they might not even be looking at you, they might be looking at the mirror in front of you, and you're just at the wrong angle with the geometry, they're going to see you hanging brain. That happens all the time at my gym. And I go to a gym that is predominantly populated by women, and the few other guys that are there tend to wear shorts, and it happens on a daily basis that I see something I really, really don't want to see. So please, guys, don't wear shorts to the gym. Wear full-length tracksuit pants, I beg of you. If you have to wear shorts, wear tight ones so that there's no line of sight. Please, guys, please, just think it through. All right, so that's the end of my rant about shorts. If you disagree with me, you want to argue with me about shorts, by all means do so. If you have some ideas about perhaps I've missed something, perhaps I've gone too far, perhaps I haven't gone far enough, you can drop some comments below. You can find me on Discord. You can sometimes find me on Facebook. Those are places where we can chat about this. If you have any suggestions about things you'd like me to rant about in the future, all of those places would be great. And also, if you guys want to help me produce these kinds of things in the future, if you're interested in hearing more of my content, you want to see me develop my craft and produce more of these kinds of videos, a few bucks would go a long way. If you head to patreon.com/D20, you can subscribe at one of the low tiers. That's cool. $1 a month or $2 a month, that would be awesome. That would go a long way, especially if lots of people do it. If you're not willing or able to do that, that's also fine. You can like, comment, subscribe. That stuff all helps. You can share my videos on social media. That's cool too. The more people who see it, the more subscribers I can get. Then I can get some recognition from YouTube, so I can eventually start monetizing these videos there. And the more people that see it, the more eyeballs that I get on these videos, the more opportunities there are for support and for growth and for development of both my craft and this channel. And that would be really cool. I would appreciate all of that very much. All right, that's it for now. Swat out.